Okay, please listen to this and I'll come back with a few comments.
It's my business whether you get married or not. It doesn't know about marriage. Everything married. Is marriage? Is it by force? Yes. You don't know. Oh, you don't know. That the only thing that God said was not good. The only thing. He created light. I would say so light was good. He created everything so it was good. You are not ready for marriage, but you are ready for fornication. Jesus saw it wasn't good. Marriage is kingdom. We marry for kingdom. We marry for duty. We marry to preserve the next generation. If you are there hugging, whether you see my friend's money, if you are there doing all of that, be doing it. Your contemporaries are marrying 4 wives.
4 wives. Your mates are marrying 4. What are you waiting for? All right, so that was by Pastor Philip Olubakin, a man that I actually quite respect and who has been a blessing to the body, especially through his sermons online. It's been a powerful voice and all. What I'm about to share is not a rebuttal of what Pastor Philip has said. As a matter of fact, is a compliment. I'm here to compliment what he has said. And I'm here to do that, especially because I'm a pastor as well, and I'm also a licensed marriage coach. So I see a lot of back end. So as we're encouraging singles to run into marriage, I also see how a lot of married people are trying to run out of marriage. So, and those ones don't make it. Those ones, they don't make it to social media. The level of noise, the level of dissatisfaction, the level of pain that a lot of people are feeling. So if you are hearing this, it's important to compliment, and it's important that we learn to compliment, and it's important that we, hear that word compliment. I'm simply adding to all Pastor Philip has said. Honestly, I could have said everything I said verbatim because I agree with him 100%. But it must also be complemented because what we are used to is this versus this is not this verse, and it's not always this versus that. And I'm going to offer my comments from the Bible because he was teaching from the Word of God. My comment is also straight from the Bible, and you will find from the Bible that Paul was almost actively discouraging people from getting married. From the Bible, it was almost. Hear the word almost before you run off and say, "Oh, Paul said nobody should marry." It was almost. It sounds as if it was discouraging people from the idea of getting married, which is why it's an important compliment to what Pastor Philip has shared. So let's check 1 Corinthians chapter 7. This is not Bible study. I'll just read a few verses to show you what I said about what Paul said about marriage, so that all of us can have a very, very balanced, because I can't sit in my seat seeing the pain, seeing how many are struggling. And I've seen people who have cried to me to say, "Oh, I wish I waited 1 more year. I wish I'm even single right now. I wish I did not marry him. I wish I did not marry her. I would have been a happier, I would have been a more fulfilling person by now." And I cannot hear all of that and hear this and not give you, the listener, the benefits of a well complemented and well balanced message, so that you can make your own very well informed decision, right? Because I also know some people are like, "What is even marriage? Say, I don't want to marry. Let's all just calm down and expand the different angles that this conversation has. All right. 1 Corinthians chapter 7. If you have time, go and study 1 Corinthians chapter 7 very well. Spend a month on it. There's a whole lot to unpack there. But I'm just going to pick on maybe 2, 3, 4 verses where Paul was almost, the word almost is important, almost discouraging people from marrying. So let's look at it one by one. What were the things Paul was saying that looked like he was asking us not to marry when Pastor Philip was saying, "Go and marry"? 1 Corinthians chapter 7 verse 6, he says, "But I say this as a concession, not as a command. For I wish that all men were even as I myself." Paul was single. He never married. So he's saying, all of you should just be like me. It says, "But each one has his own gift from God, one in this manner and another in that." Do you understand what he's saying there? Some people have the gift of celibacy, some others don't. Because if you read that verse, in the very next, in verse 9, it then says, "But if they cannot exercise self-control, let them marry. For it is better to marry than to burn with passion." But Paul was saying, left to me, I will have said, everybody be like me, be single. Enjoy your single life. Don't ever marry. But he said everybody has different gifts. I'm going to come back to that. Verse 8. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 8. It says, "But I say to the unmarried and to the widows. It is good for them if they remain even as I am. Can you see it again? Verse 6 was saying, I wish that all men will be like me. He's saying for the unmarried and for the widows, it is good for them if they remain even as I am. I was Paul, he never married. All right? So you can see that Paul was saying, you people, this marriage thing, look at it well. Let's go to verse 32 and then I'll come back to 52. I'm going back up. Verse 32 says, but I want you to be without care. I'm saving you from trouble. I want you to be without wahala. So I want you to be without care. For he who is unmarried cares for the things of the world, how it may please the Lord. But you see the married people, says, but he who is married cares about the things of the world and how he may please his wife or how he may please her husband. And that job of trying to please a husband or trying to please a wife is a full day and night job. You know, sometimes as a pastor, I've seen people who say, oh, I want to fast for 1 month. I don't want anybody to come close to me. I don't even want my wife to touch me. I don't want my husband to touch me. I tell some of them, Shebi, you for remain single. Who do you want to kill? Who do you want to kill? You must please him. You must please her. You know, oh, I want to be traveling from village to village. I want to calm down. Says, but he who is married cares for the things of the world. But if you can remain single, you can focus on pleasing the Lord. I say, I want you to be without care. All right, so those are the verses that just shows where Paul was almost saying, this marriage thing may not look well. You don't just jump in. But there are also scriptures clearly where Paul was encouraging us to marry. Verse 2. 1 Corinthians 7, from the very second verse, it says, nevertheless, because of sexual immorality, let each man have his own wife, and let each woman have her own husband. Very critical. Don't pretend like you are not a human being. You know, all those people, I don't want to marry, this marriage thing itself, the problem is too much. Oh Lord, they are not even enjoying it. I am enjoying my peace. And it's okay. Enjoy your peace. But do you have this gift of celibacy? Because if you don't have the gift of celibacy and your body start moving the way the body of adults move, and we now even know from this scripture that it's not only men that their body move, the women too, as much as they pretend to be like they don't move, it is a lie. All of you are moving. It says, because of sexual immorality, let each man have his own wife, let each woman have her own husband. Because if you are a child of God, you know the only place where God has prepared and planned as a channel for expressing this thing that is born in all of us is marriage. So don't deceive yourself. And then verse 9, it says, but if they cannot exercise self-control, again, still going back to this issue of this urge. Say, if they cannot exercise self-control, let them marry. It says, for it is better to marry than to burn with passion. Passion there is not passion for the kingdom. It's not passion for souls. It's not passion for purpose. It's not passion to please God. It's talking about sexual urge. That's what it's talking about. It says it's better to marry than to burn with passion. That's why it started. If you read the preceding verse 8, it says, I wish that you can stay unmarried. It is good for them. But if they cannot exercise self-control, and there's a place where verse 7, it says, for I wish that all men were even as I am, but each one has his own gift. So this is my summation. If you want to remain unmarried, I'm single, I want to be single for Jesus, fine. Just ensure that you have the gift of celibacy. If you don't have the gift of celibacy, honestly, my candid advice, go and marry. So we've heard from the two sides. What does this mean? What exactly does this mean? What am I supposed to do with this almost conflicting information that is being shared now? It simply means a few things. I'm going to share 2 or 3. Marriage, first and foremost, is not for babies. Marriage is not for babies. The fact that you are 30 or 40 or whatever age does not mean you are ready for marriage. There's growth required in marriage because there is a job. You can see that there's a job part of marriage. Let me say this to you. Marriage is not for babies because marriage is a ministry. What exactly is the purpose of marriage? Marriage is for two people who have decided to work together in order to fulfill their purpose on the earth. Marriage is for somebody who is looking for an ally with whom they will work together to impact the world positively. So the real purpose behind marriage is for kingdom, is for impact, just like Pastor Philip was saying. So marriage is not for pleasure. Marriage is for, it's not for, I'm just looking for somebody that will be warming my bed. Hey! Oh my. Be careful. That's why a lot of people are having issues, because they married only because of themselves. Marriage is not even about the two people in the marriage. That's why marriage is not delivering what people thought it would deliver, because it was not created for what they thought it would be. It was not created for the purpose for which people want to use marriage. Oh, you can't buy you can't buy a microphone, for instance, and you say, this thing is not even I want to use it to nail it, I want to use it to nail something to the wall. It's not working well as a hammer. It's not a hammer. It has a higher purpose than a hammer. That's why it won't function well as a hammer, because it wasn't created for hammering. Right? That's the frustration a lot of people are having. They don't even understand the purpose of marriage, and therefore they are complaining that marriage is not working. All right? So marriage is not for babies. Marriage is not for pleasure. I can never forget the day I heard that statement from Pastor Goman Akinlabi many years ago, that marriage is not, the purpose of marriage is not your happiness. The purpose of marriage is your holiness. I heard that statement, it jolted me.